16 years ago that they had me, 16 to 15, probably 15 years ago, where they talked to me about Stephen Hawking, and I made a connection with Hawking. We had conversations in my head. He was hard to talk to. I'm still upset with him by what was going on with my wife and her oldest daughter. Um, uh, they know about what people would refer to. Prayer is a form of what they would label it as telekinesis, right? We can communicate. Most of us can, without talking. And some of us, especially for focal points of communication, we have excellent forms of what they would refer to as telekinesis. And I remember I was telling that one young lady about it when I asked her about, I'm not trying to be racist, but you would, his name is, Calvin Boudreaux. She said, no, we believe in the Bible. We don't believe in this like telekinesis. Voodoo is like the whole Bible is about people having conversations without being physically present. Okay. That's the whole Bible. Almost every story in the Bible has communications without certain parties or entities being physically present. People talking to people in different time. Okay. And so people talking to people from the past or the future in their present. Okay. And that's the whole, and it happens past, present, future, past, present, future up at the same time. When you're talking to people presently, it's still in your past, in your future. Do you understand? Judy Krishnamurti. Yeah, I love the guy. But but I was sitting there, I was watching some of the shorts with Neil deGrasse Tyson to make sure I was spelling the middle portion of his name right. And when he was talking about things, me and Hawking already had these conversations 15 years ago about economic, that whole thing, to bring that whole thing here and crash the market. It's like it's not valuable. Okay. Obviously, a rock, okay, is not more valuable than water. They know this. What they're looking for, what they use the Hubble telescope, they're not looking for silver and gold and diamonds, guys. They're looking for a planet with what it's like I said with that Yorktown freaking Star Trek movie with the Idris Elba guy and all that with the white girl that was on the planet. You have a woman, you have food, and you have water. Okay. You can't float around. It's not valuable. You can't float around on a big chunk of rock with gold and silver in it. Okay. But when you have a planet that has an orbit with an atmosphere and photosynthesis and with gravity holding it in an orbit, okay. Aha, you can have all the gold in the world, but it's not going to do any good if you don't have a planet, right? Why would you bring all that rock to this planet to say that the rock is more valuable than the planet? That's insane, right? That shows an IQ that's not, right? And then they had the thing about the chimps with the lice and the different connections and stuff with um uh, gorillas are black. Okay, gorillas aren't white. Chimps are. Okay. Gorillas are black. You go look at a gorilla. He's a fine example of the simian race. Okay, gorillas are black. Okay. Chimps are white. So the bigger and more strong and more fierce are black. Gorillas in the mist. Okay. And so chimps are white underneath the skin and the things and stuff. Gorillas might get lice too. I don't know. Okay. I dated a girl that was black and she got lice and we got rid. She just shaved. Okay. She got it from another black guy, having sex with him who was cheating on his girlfriend. Crabs is what they call it. Okay. So that's happened to me, and that was through black people, not through white people. So, when they get in and break into all that stuff, it's just nature and people interacting in nature. So don't break it down into stupidity. It's crabs are different than lice, but they're similar. They're a real pain in the crotch. Okay, and so Mom got rid, and we Yeah, I've been smarter just to shave and then pluck. Get some tweezers and pluck. It was real not fun. They suck in and they get, and you pop them, their blood. They're like chiggers almost. Yeah, like crabs. They're horrible. Yeah, it's not a fun experience. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but you can't help it. It's something that happens. It's nature, you know. And you have to be very careful of nature, and you have to build to last and build well, and then manage your environment in a way that understands and respects what's going on. You know, centipedes, spiders, so on, so on, and so forth. That's why you don't have covers hanging over the edge of the bed, and you try to have your beds up high. Okay. So it's a lot more difficult for critters, and critters are more, because up on our beds, you get up on our beds, we kill you. So critters are more apt to stay away and stay off and stuff. And so, but it's just one of those things. It's just adjusting to a nature and accommodating to nature, because critters are there. You got bed bugs, you got mites, and you have all these things, and it's part of life. Okay. And then the whole thing, and then people referring to, when you read the document, okay, God's omniscient, omnipotent, and they have, Neil deGrasse Tyson, where did God come from? God's omniscient, omnipotent. Okay. God doesn't come from, God is the essence of all things. It's the omniscient, omnipotent, the origin of all things. Okay. And so that's what we're calling it, is God. Okay. My dad, how would you like to be called an it? I'm not going to call God he. Why? Because Adolf Hitler's a fucking he. John Gotti's a fucking he. Mussolini's a he. I think it'd be more of an insult to call God he than it. Being greater than he. When you call it an it. What's so bad about the word it? I think the word he is a lot more, there's been a lot more he's that have raped, murdered, killed, and tried to turn themselves into God and kill in the name of God than its have. Okay, that's a word describing something. Okay? It's not an insult unless you got an ego problem and think God is he, right? You understand? So if you can't have a coherent, rational, mature conversation, don't come talk to me. I'll kick your ass into oblivion. He God, he man. I'll kick the Skeletor out of you. And I will. Well, because you need to. People need an ego check. They need an adjustment. I'm watching a pretty decent movie. It's called The Quiet Man with John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara. He's made like 4 movies with that woman. I think he had a thing for her. You think? Yeah. When they make more than one movie together, it's like there's something going on there. It doesn't even have to be something going on. It just, he's got a crush. He likes her. He likes working with her. Okay. So because there's McClintock, there's like Rio, Sons of Katie Elder, I think, Rio, whatever and stuff. So not Rio Bravo, but Rio, I don't know, is Rio Grande. I think they're in Rio Grande together. I think they're in Rio Grande together. There's McClintock, and there's this one, and there's a couple more. So he's made more, and he also did he make more than one movie of Yvonne DiCarlo? Who wouldn't want to make one? She was cute. Yvonne DiCarlo. Good looking woman. Yeah, she was. She had sex with lots of different people. That means she's willing to have sex with lots of different people if you make a movie with her. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, because no, he was in she was in McClintock with him. Wasn't she in the one about Genghis Khan, where they were in the place where they tested nuclear weapons up in the Moab regions? Wasn't she in that or something like that? I'm not sure. But Pearl. Just yellow is the color of some rays. But guys, you guys got to understand, okay, that most, quote, what you think are intelligent people, if they're a philanthropist, they're basically a chimpanzee picking lice off of one another, or gorillas in the mist. Okay? And so you have to be more intelligent than what is given to you as tradition or social convention and shit like that. Money's not real. Money is an invention of human beings to manipulate people and class warfare and socially to give them delusions, dopamine and adrenaline rushes to feel powerful. I think that's why it's not being addressed. I think Neil deGrasse Tyson wants to live, which is intelligent, and doesn't want to be killed by people that use money and technology to feel powerful. I think that's what's going on with the dude. I don't think he's stupid. I think he's more intelligent. It's obvious he's more intelligent than that. Hawking was an ass. Hawking was jealous of me and wanted me to be, an animal that did, certain things. And guys, when women find you sexually attractive, and Amy was groomed from the time she was a child by military ops because of her connections to me through genome sequencing. Okay. And then the manipulation sexually of her affected her kids. And they did a projection on the baby. She was 9 months when she moved into my house. Okay, when I moved her and Amy into the house, they did a projection on her on what she'd physically resemble. Okay. And you're talking like, whoa. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Natalie's a very physically attractive female. Okay. Hawking knew this. And he was trying to talk me into taking advantage of that manipulation because I deserved it and it would be fun. It's like, yeah, because it's at the right time. You remember what he said, that most of us are attracted to Britney Spears and her schoolgirl outfit. And I was like, no, and I understand because I had sex with Rhonda when she was young and it was great. But the thing about it is I wanted to go back, but I didn't because I didn't want us to get pregnant and be teenage kids in our society that brutalizes people economically through their lack of opportunity. It's not opportunity. It's, their social position and their social convention. Right? Unless you're like Dennis Kim and Barney Kripke and you're vicious and you'll sell guidance systems to Colonel Williams to kill all the people in China that are trying to be better fuckers than you. Then you're gonna have a hard time if you have to work at the supermarket or work your way through college saying, okay, I'll sell all of my ideas to these assholes because they have the laboratory to do it, or I'll sell my talents to the circus that is the NBA, the NFL, or FIFA in order to get money from the gate receipts from bullshit that's not real and holding things hostage, which is insane. Okay, anybody here want a pint? Okay, kill your brain cells and pickle your liver to enjoy the rape. So you guys understand? Yeah, so I'm going to load this one. I didn't want to talk yesterday, and then I didn't want to talk at all, and then my dreams hit, boom, 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 and I'm like, God dang it. It's everyday people, I appreciate your position, and I'm working hard at correcting the technology. I'd appreciate your help if you stand up for the Lord's Prayer and don't try to get into it with me and think that you're God in your head. I am the Messiah. If you don't believe that, I proved it to quantum computing, and you can't prove that you're God in your head, that you keep asking for money so you can fuck and sexually procreate instead of live the holy covenants, living the Lord's Prayer, is the Messiah. I am. I proved it to quantum computing. You haven't. So you'd be wise there now into believing in me instead of believing in your make-believe money that Jesus gave you through the New World Order there. Because Jesus is a corporate copyright entity. I'm Ralph Earl Parsons Jr. I'm the 1322nd Redeemer of the eternal spirit of Jesus. And if you don't believe that, your money's not going to be able to save you from the quantum computing mathematics there, here to who.